Hi everyone. I have gone for the Razer Blade 17 Pro with the 3080 graphics and the 4K 120Hz display, and I thought I would share my initial impressions and some benchmarks and a little bit of gameplay with you, just to let you know how I'm getting on so far. So, firstly, the device was very well packaged and arrived all the way from Hong Kong to Ipswich in the UK without a single mark on it. Took 3 days to arrive, and this is the only model which is shipped to the UK at the moment. So all the other models are going to be released in March, but that's lucky for me because this was the one I wanted. The quality and finish surprised me. So even as a Razer Blade 15 user, I had high expectations. I would have given that an A in terms of build quality. This is definitely a step higher than that, so I'd say an A plus. This is up there with the likes of Apple, really, perhaps even better. And in comparison with the 15-inch model, it's a bigger device, but it's still very portable. I think you can still take it with you. The only word of caution I would say is I did use it on my lap yesterday, and it is a bit heavier, so it's not the most comfortable to use on your lap. So here's the first benchmark. I'm sure this is what a lot of you are here for. Um, if you're like me, you probably think that the 30 series launch has been a bit of a mess because a lot of manufacturers are not declaring the power limits on their GPUs, which can make a very big difference in terms of the performance you get from your device. So this is what we would have called last gen a Max Q card, which was expected because it's a thin and light device. It runs at 90 watts, but boosts up to 108 watts. So you can't expect this to compete with the chunkier laptops with the full fat cards on this generation. So the time spy score of 10574 or the graphics score of 10700 is approximately a 25% increase in performance on the 2080 Max Q model from last year, and it's pretty much in line with the performance you would expect from a 2080 Super mobile laptop running at full wattage. So that wouldn't have been possible last generation. But what I would say is that I think Razer has some thermal headroom here. My GPU didn't get above 64 degrees. So whilst they're pushing it up to the maximum I saw on this test was 103 watts, I would think that it could easily take 120 watts. And I think that would unlock quite a lot of performance. So this is the Firestrike benchmark. It's a DX11 1080p benchmark. Coming in at 27,537 for the graphics score and 22,322 overall. So it's a similar gain. So this surprised me. I've only tested Hitman 3 and Doom Eternal so far, but both of them run at native resolution at 4K without any downscaling. This is Hitman on high settings, and I know you can't see the afterburner stats in the top corner, but it's running at 75 frames per second, sometimes gets as high as 90, sometimes goes down to kind of 67, 68. But I was surprised. I mean, this is a good-looking game, and it's a new AAA title. So being able to run it at 4K without lowering any settings or anything is yeah, really put a smile on my face. I think it's worth pointing out as well that the screen on this laptop really is the main attraction. So it's a really fast response 120 Hertz panel, but it's so much brighter and more vibrant than my 1080p screen on my 15 model, and that was a nice screen, but it looks pretty scrubby next to this, and that's a big compliment actually. The speakers are pretty good too. I'd say one downside compared to the 15-inch model is that the fans on this are slightly louder, and you do notice them a bit more, so just be aware of that. No backlight bleed on my screen, by the way. I'm really pleased about that because it's like one of my pet hates. So, Doom Eternal, once again, ultra settings, 4K resolution, running at 100 frames per second, sometimes higher. So this was another title that I half expected to have to lower some settings or play at 1440p, but no, this one pretty much maxed out at 4K. Fantastic experience. So that's what I think so far. Quite impressed. I think Razer needs to up the wattage on the GPU, and then I'd be really impressed. But yeah, stay tuned. I'm going to be posting some gameplay, like proper benchmark videos over the next few days and weeks. If there's any games you want me to test in particular at any specific settings or resolutions, let me know in the comments, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Thank you, bye bye.